Ladies and gents, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. We're doing it on Friday, March the 7th, 2025. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel so you get the full-length videos. Check out patreon.com/RobSadri if you'd like to financially support the show. Wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's Canada, down south in the US, further down south, Mexico, South America, over there, Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, New Zealand, the Papua New Guineas, the Koreas, both Koreas, South Korea, North Koreas, over there in Cuba, over there in Jamaica, the Portuguese, over there in the Scandinavian countries, my Swedish people, my Finnish people, the Filipinos back over there, and the Bangladesh, over there, all around the world. You know what it is, floating on this little blue marble in midair. It's Friday, feeling good. I did lose a date. Whatever. We'll get into it. It's gonna be a fun, loose Friday. That's okay. That's all right. I originally thought I was gonna have a date on the weekend, and by that I mean a little bit of the old Netflix and chill, because it's been a while for your boy, and that's what happens. You meet somebody on the lines, you exchange texts, you say Netflix and chill, and they're like yes, and then you touch base later on, and then somebody starts saying, hey, you want to go dancing? And then somebody else is like, well, maybe we could have just, grabbed drinks and head on back to somebody's place and do a little bit of the old hanky-panky, the old sucky, fucky. And you want to be clear so there's no misunderstandings or anything. And you ask if, because once because initially when you do say Netflix and chill and somebody agrees, that take it that, everybody's understanding of the situation, and that's what I was looking forward to too. It was a MILF. It was going to be my first MILF, you guys. It was going to be my first MILF, my legit MILF. I've, a couple of years older I've been with, but like legit OG MILF, 53-year-old MILF. God, I was looking forward to that. That was gonna, it's all right. That's fine. That's okay. It's good to double check. I should have kind of gotten the heads up, because I did initially say Netflix and chill, and then she came back and said, what kind of movie do you want to watch? To which I responded something along the lines of LOL, or laughing my ass off, ta ha ha, not really there for the movie, if you catch my drift. And then they came back with a ha ha ha, smiley face, something. So, that's fine. It's okay. It's all right. Did I get hard for a MILF for about a week? Yes. Did I touch base midweek to clear the? Yes, thank God I touched base midweek, because that's the thing. If it got to like Friday, which is today, or Saturday, I was like, oh yes. And I did shave my nuts this morning. I did just for the hell of it, just for the, I just trimmed it up. It's nice. Zach is smooth as a, velvet bag of, chocolates. Just, God, it's all good. I was just looking forward to it. It was a MILF. It was a beautiful MILF. 53. That's good. So that's a legit MILF. But whatevs. That's all right. That's all good. Other than that, I'm doing fine. I hope you guys are doing well too. Ladies and gents, let's get into it. Enough of the this, that, and the other. That was neither here nor there. I did feel like I wanted to share that. We just get it off my chest. What's going on in and around the world? If you're tuning in today and you're like, what is this? It's a podcast. We just shoot the shit, have some fun. Fun ideas, different things, big ideas, small ideas, surface level, mid-level, deep levels, all of it. But we'll get in to action by let's just get right into it. What happened over the past couple of days that was exciting, that I heard about? A beautiful woman was on board of a flight heading from Phoenix Phoenix bound rather. A woman on a Phoenix bound flight decided to strip down, full nude, naked as the day she was born, naked as that's naked as it gets. Also, naked as the day she might. Birth makes more sense. I was going to say as the day she passed away, but she hasn't. Long life ahead of her. But you don't necessarily pass into the other realms in the nude. You could. More people should. I do. Believe if you come into the world naked, you should go out of the world naked. I say that. I stand by it. Whenever my time comes, and I aim to live up to 175. So when the time comes, make sure when you do find me, if I'm not nude, just make sure I get nude. I want that. I want that, and I want to be hard when I go out. When I go out, 170 just rock solid, just nuts hanging to the floor, but rock solid. Put a couple of blue chews in my mouth and just chew for me. Put your palm on the bottom of my jaw and just make sure I swallow. I don't know if it's still gonna work or not, but nonetheless, ladies and gents, a woman got naked on the flight, on a Phoenix-bound flight, and everybody started to lose their shit. People took out their phones. They didn't know what to do. She screamed. She cussed at the stewardesses, the flight attendants, and people started recording. She might have gotten a little bit, I'm not gonna comment on whether or not she got aggro or not, but there was, people were a little bit concerned. But rightly so, it makes sense. She got aggravated a little bit. She was a little bit, took off her clothes a little bit. Other people aggravated also. It makes sense. Why? Let's get rid of fluff. Let's look at the facts. Let's see what we're dealing with here. A grown woman gets fully naked on board on a flight. Others feel emotions. They get tense. They get maybe a little bit scared. They get a little bit, antsy. What do they want to do deep down inside? I'll give you a second. Think about when you see somebody anywhere get naked. What is your first reaction? What do you want to innately do? Leave a comment. Get naked is the correct answer. That's right. Everybody else on the flight also wanted to get naked, but instead we've been programmed to 1, take out our phone, start recording. 2, be all lame because there's like kids around and shit on the plane. There's kids on the plane, there's children on the plane, which brings me to my next point. As much as everybody else wanted to also get naked and just have a nude flight, a nude traveling experience, which is not something many of us have. It's a luxury. You have to pay extra for it. They don't even talk about this shit. Flying in the nude. But this lady said, let's all get a little bit, a little bit closer with one another. And everybody else wanted to do the same thing, but because of these goddamn rugrats, because of these children who get on flights with adults, thousands of feet up in the air, no other adult was able to experience nude flight because of children on board. So this is why I'm taking a stance today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just putting it forward. Let's get this movement going together. No more children on flights. Ban children on flights. How many of us must be robbed of experiences that are life-altering because of children who get on flights? Next time, think about it. You get on a flight, full-blown adult flight, no children in sight. Nobody under 18 is allowed to get altitude, basically. Next thing you know, hot lady takes off her bra, takes off her shirt, takes off her pants, takes off her panties. Maybe she's not even wearing any. Next thing you know, you're taking off your shirt, you're unbuckling your belt, your shoes already off, pants off, everybody buckled down, but naked, which is nice, the way it's supposed to be, the way God intended it to go. But no, because we don't want to expose children to certain things, the whole experience gets ruined for everybody. Once again, scapegoat nude lady. Instead of clapping, instead of saying yes, hero, bravery, all that other stuff, good adjectives to describe a person, it's, oh, what a tip of the spear, forward thinking, a futurist, you might say. But no, why? Because a few kids on the damn flight, once again, and the whole experience. I know nobody wants to talk about it, but think about it. Sit down. Somebody brings a little bit of a snack tray. Would you like a drink? You have a little drink. You chew on some nuts. You go down on somebody. You give somebody Slurpees. You give somebody sloppy toppies. You give somebody a little, you eat somebody out. You eat a nice vagina out when you don't even know them. You don't even know them. And what happens in the air stays up in the air. It's no jurisdiction. There's no laws in the air. And again, we are robbed of great experiences because people bring their offspring who are not meant to. They don't even appreciate it. They should be, if anything, there should be a bottom sector below the deck Just toss them in cages below the deck. Pick them up with your suitcases. They don't understand. Put a ballroom, put like a room, fill it up with little balls that they enjoy it. Toss the kids in there with juice boxes. If you're gonna carry them with you everywhere, and you're not bothering anybody else, toss them. They just kick them in. They just kick them like you kick animals and luggage down the chute, down the vent. I don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. We all want to get naked at the end of the day on a flight. And it's a travesty that we have to lose out on experiences because we don't want to, we can't have a little bit of a, like you can't have a larger vessel that, has like a compartment below the deck. Children are short. They don't even need all that height. They don't care what movies you watch. You just play any cartoon for them. They'll be entertained. Downstairs, entertained. In a ball pit, juice boxes flying, stains everywhere. It doesn't matter. Rinse the whole thing out before they leave. Rinse the whole bottom deck. It's a travesty. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. One more time, experience ruined by children. I don't know what to tell you, to be honest with you. It touched my heart. I know you must definitely feel similar feelings out there. It breaks my heart. Because, if it weren't for kids outside, we could imagine traveling in your car in the nude. Everybody likes the drop top because, the wind is in my hair. Imagine the wind in your tits. Imagine loose tits in a convertible. Do you even need to? The commercial should just be 3 seconds on a windy road somewhere in the Swiss Alps in a convertible and a loose tit just flapping like a dog's ears on the side of the highway, just enjoying a good breeze. You don't get to see that. Why? Because there's children's outside. There are children's outside. Maybe there shouldn't be any children's outside. Just putting ideas forward. Just letting you know that we could have, loose titties on the back of motorcycles to all modes of transportation could be enhanced simply by saying, hey, maybe there's a time and a place for everything. Maybe they need to be in school. Maybe they need to be with the, at the daycare center. Or maybe they need to be, learning something at a location where it's just meant for children. But all of a sudden we're like, no, let's open up flights to these ungrateful, right? They don't even understand what you're doing. You're spending thousands of dollars. They're going on planes. They're doing things that most people couldn't have dreamt of, 50, 75 years. They're just, young kids getting on planes, thinking that's the way life goes. This is an elite human experience. It's an elite human, it's a privilege to be able to fly. Yeah, despite the fact that, the flights have been it's been a little bit shady, it's been a little bit murky, what else? We're not going to get into all those experiences, but nonetheless. So here you go, ladies and gents. Once again, kids are out there ruining your experiences. Let your local governor know, please. We can put an end to all of this. Titty in your mouth, midair. Think about that. That's what these kids are robbing you from. Speaking of these kids, they're liars. I'll tell you, that's another thing. They're damn liars. They're conniving liars. They're just, mommy, daddy, there's a monster under the bed. How many times have you heard that story? Mommy, daddy, there's a monster in my closet. Mommy, daddy, there's a closet and there's a monster inside my closet. Mom, dad, there's a closet, there's a monster, and there's a bed, and there's a monster under my bed. I can't go to sleep. Can I sleep with you guys? Mom and daddy. Snot ran out of their faces. Disgusting. You put up with it, I get it. Is there a way to tackle this situation? Can we somehow fight these little liars so that they learn a few valuable lessons? I thought to myself, could there be anything that will perhaps change them, alter them, make them better? And there is a way. Which is why I like to let you know that from now on, moving forward, you can call upon our team of professionals, hired monsters, goons that'll go inside your child's bedroom and sleep under the bed, wait for them, scare them, just traumatize them in the closet. Next time he or she is complaining about, there's a noise in the closet, they'll open up the closet, a large, monstrous figure will jump out, maybe wearing a mask, just screaming, yelling, terrifying them, terrorizing them maybe a little bit. When they go to bed, just to look, they'll grow out their nails, because that's how we train. Grow out their nails, just scrape the bottom of the bed with a screeching noise that'll make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Terrifying, terrifying. It's 1:30 in the a.m. They should be long asleep in La La Land, in Z'ville. But no, sir, they'll get awakened to a sound of an actual monster. Once they see the monster, once they see a large goon, once they are terrified and traumatized for life, they won't ever make shit up again. They won't ever, because now they know. Now they know that there's real actual monsters, and you could tell them. They'll come up to you. Little Jimmy's running up to you. Daddy, there's a monster. You're like, yeah. Remember all those other times you said there's a monster under the bed? Remember all those other times you said there's a monster in the closet? Yeah, quit crying wolf, little Jimmy. Quit crying wolf. Because there's real monsters out there. Teach them valuable lessons. Let them get scarred a little bit, just a little bit. But also next time, they're not going to be just all willy-nilly, just say there's a monster, there's a monster. They won't say that. They'll learn a lesson. And you want to, again, it's just teaching the good lessons at an early age so it gets imprinted in the mind, so they build good habits. Learn at a young age. You're welcome. You're welcome. I know. You're like, why didn't we think of this? Because I get it. You're busy out there. I get it. You're busy out there. Hire our trained professionals. They will scare the shit out of your children and make sure that they get rid of bad habits. And one of the biggest bad habits amongst the young, lying. They're lying. So you're welcome. Took care of it. It's all good. You know your boy's the giver out there, not ever thinking about himself, putting others first all the time. And it's the way we roll. Traditionally, we've been trained to flush the toilet every time we use the bathroom. Of course, I said to myself, why must it be so? Why can't we have alternative ways of maybe flushing the toilet? And I said to myself, what if we just leave the bodily fluids and fecal matter in there? Just top it off and have one large flush at the end of the night, which is why I decided to promote this idea amongst everybody out there, whoever's listening. Tell your family, tell your friends. The best thing you can do to maybe, be a little bit more eco-friendly, but also a little bit more just like a team player. How about you be a little bit more of a team player? Because it's easy to just, flush because you're like thinking of others who might enter the bathroom. But what if we all just did it together? What if every time you peed, you didn't flush, somebody else got to come in there, pee on top of your pee. Somebody else comes in there, takes a dump. They don't flush. Somebody else comes in after them, takes a shit. Somebody else comes in after them, pisses a little bit more. Have it pile up all the way up. And it's a little game. See how far you can go before it spills out of the bowl. And that way you can play a little game. You can start being like, does it take a day to fill your bowl? How many people have you placed in your, residence or workplace? Does it take 2 days? Can you go above the rim? Can you have enough piss, but also mountain of shit in the toilet? How fun would that be? Think of the shitting experience. It's been relatively the same for about 75 years, I would say, according to the science, according to my data, according to the statistics, of course. What's stopping you from squatting on top of the toilet bowl so that you're not sitting on it and actually helping build a mountain of shit layer by layer by layer and hovering above it? Maybe it's even kind of brushing up against your nuts and your vag. And you're like, is that sanitary? Probably not. We're not here for sanitary purposes. We're here for exciting times and things that get you going, which is why I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? The shitting experience has been relatively the same for a really long time. We need to change things up, because when nothing changes, ladies and gents. When nothing changes, everything remains the same. Pile up the shit, have a little bit of fun. Next person who goes in is kind of, think of it as like shit Jenga. Remember that game that was, that came in, maybe, I don't remember when it came in, maybe like about a decade ago. And you stack up the little blocks on top of one another, and then you pull one out to see which one makes the entire fixture fall. And same thing, but shit Jenga. Just Jenga, Django, Jenga, Jenga. That one sounds right. This podcast could be brought to you by Shit Jenga. It's not right now anyway, but it could be. So go ahead and play Shit Jenga. See who actually makes the, shit fixture fall, and save a little bit more water. Build communities, come together. Let's do it. I believe in us, ladies and gents. I really do. What's going on in and around the world? Lots of things are going on in and around the world, of course. I believe before we get into what's going on, I should, because I am feeling like, feeling a little bit creative, feeling like, let's get the ideas out first, then we'll get into some of the global events that are also taking place. Before I move forward with those global events, let's just put another idea forward that I thought about, because I do want people coming closer together, forming relationships, women's going out there, grabbing suitors, and it's become, I get it, there's challenging times. So you need to, you need as much assistance in your life as possible to find a mate. And I thought to myself, what do men's like when it comes down to to just get rid of everything? They love the puss. Men's love the smell of the puss. Women's happen to have the puss. How do we get the scent of the puss closer to the men's as humanly possible? Which is why I've created a small mini vag fan. That's what I like to do, the mini vag fan. It's a little tiny fan. Think of those little fans that you might see some, beautiful, you're traveling somewhere in Southeast Asia. You'll see people with little tiny fans on hot summer days where it's like 50 plus degrees. They'll have a little tiny little fan, and the fan is just like, it's trying its hardest to keep people warm, or cool rather, but the temperatures are too hot, so it's just blowing like, hot air at your neck. It's burning a little hole in your neck. Just a little tiny fan. We're gonna install those right below the female vagina. Moving forward, 2025, I want to see this by spring of 26. Little tiny fans. This is nothing intrusive, it's nothing invasive. It's extremely small, delicate little fan. And as you walk, ladies, as you're walking up and down the street, it's a beautiful summer day, your moist vag is already, putting out the scents. You're leaking a little bit fluid, which is nice. Men's loves that. All right? The fan is simultaneously working. Think about it, just blowing on your vag a little bit. People walking by can get a waft of your vaginal fluids and odors, which really entices the senses, allowing them to know that, hey, this is a lady that wants to get asked out on a date. Because why? I can smell the vag, it's nice. Hits me right underneath the nose. I wonder what it tastes like. Men's will say that. Next thing you know, ample amounts of dates. Next thing you know, a week, a month has gone by, 3 months has gone by, you're knee deep in a relationship. You're locking eyes right now, asking one another, is this love? Is this the one? Could this be? All thanks to a little tiny device that I created all on my own. And you're welcome. Once again, giving back to the communities, because I have my eye out on everything as much as possible. I've got my ear to the ground, try to keep tabs on as much as possible. Of course, not everything can get covered, but we all of us chip in, do our best. South Korea was having a little bit of a baby deficit through all the talking, and they ramp it up. They ramped it up. The babies are popping in South Korea apparently. Their population no longer in danger. Why? Maybe, I'm not saying this is the reason, maybe they found out about the mini vag fan. Maybe the ladies installed the mini vag fans. Ask a South Korean that. All of a sudden they're having more babies. What could be the cause? How do we get them to have more babies and not us? Install a tiny vag fan underneath your vagina, have men's waft it in, and get yourself a date, put a ring on it, have babies. You're welcome. Helping population not decline to the point where we can't return from it. Jeez, that was a close one. We did it together. Once again, I don't want to take full credit, because it's a universal effort, really. It takes all of us. The mini vag fan is out there. Find it, get it installed. Enjoy your family. You're welcome. You're welcome. It's all right. No need to, it's okay. It's all right. Leave a comment if this has impacted your life in a positive manner. If you've installed a mini vag fan underneath your vag and found a mate and have 3 babies now, leave a comment. Few people may have had their issues with the vag fan. They said, oh, the engine was too hot, got burn marks on my inner thigh, or the fan actually kind of like nicked my clit a little bit. It itches now and I can't, you know, get rid of the rash, whatever. The battery's heating up too much. Those are complaints from the whiny little twats that'll, you know, just want to take any chance to just talk negatively about a good product, about a solid product. So don't listen to them. They got injured because they didn't read the instructions. The instructions were written in Chinese. They didn't bother to learn Chinese. It's called Google Translate. You could easily translate. I have to make him in China. It's cheaper there. What do you think I can afford to build them in a factory in North America? Just, God. Gotta have the cake and eat it all at the same time too. You can't have it all, man. You can't have it all. It's okay. Those are just a few individuals. Most of the people are very happy with the product. Ladies and gentlemen, a little military exercise was going on between South Korea and the US, because we're like tight like that. That's how it is. Military exercise was going on, and a South Korean fighter jet accidentally dropped 8 bombs on a South Korean village near the North Korean border, and it injured 8 people. It's crazy that happened. It's kind of like the Alec Baldwin shooting accident, but like scaled up with nobody dying. Thank God nobody died, but 8 people did get injured. I read the article. I like how they kind of like, you know, try to like, you know, not blow it out of proportion, but also like the wording was, you know, not any major injuries except a fractured neck. So I'm glad that a fracture, yeah, who needs a proper working neck anyway? If you got a fractured neck, is not a big deal, dude. Fractured neck is not a big deal. That's crazy. I don't know why was military drills and like war game exercise. This wasn't a war game exercise. It was just you know, we do joint exercises all the time. Why do you need to have bombs on I guess it needs to feel real, doesn't it? It needs to feel real. God, that sucks though. If you're just like on a village in South Korea bordering North Korea, and it's crazy because I read the article, and you learn little teeny tiny bits of information as you go along. You pick up on different. So South Korea and North Korea has apparently had a conflict in between the 50s, early 50s, 50 to 53. They had a conflict. It's been resolved, but they never actually signed a full-blown like peace treaty. So technically they're still at war. That is crazy to be on the border of North Korea in a little tiny village like 16 miles or 16 kilometers, I forget the details, but then getting bombed and not knowing what the fuck it is, that's crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, my heart goes out. I'm glad that nobody got hurt, but also like, how do you drop 8 bombs accidentally? Like 1 is an accident, 8 is a little bit like, oh, you know what, totally makes sense though. I myself have, it's the same thing as you like, you know, when you jerk off and you're like, I'm only gonna put out X amount of semen today, and then you get nervous and then you put out more. You're like, only 1 million in this deposit, and the next thing you know, it's like 7 million of them just crawling on your belly or on her back. Who knows where we put these things? It doesn't matter. Glad that nobody got hurt. Shout out to, you know, joint exercises. It's good to exercise. It is happening, and that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you see if you see bombs flying over your head, that is scary. That is terrifying. That is terrifying. It's neither here or there. Just happy nobody died. Just imagining a beautiful Asian pilot, just a beautiful South Korean pilot, just, you know, and they're good pilots. They're good pilots. Just getting nervous, dropping 1 and then fumbling and then dropping the second one. You're like, oh shit. Press another button, thinking it's gonna stop all the other bombs, and then you just drop the 3rd bomb. Oh my God, this is horrible. Somebody's yelling at you in South Korean. Kia, whatever else is South Korean. I don't know, to be honest with you. K-pop, yelling K-pop, 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 K-pop. Bombs are dropping, K-pop, K-pop. Squid Game, Squid Game, Squid Game. All the words that, you know, just speaking South Korean, and 7, 8 bombs drop, and that's how it happens to the best of us again. Nobody got hurt, thank God. Ladies and gents, what else is going on in and around the world? A man in northern California has allegedly stolen $25,000 worth of Legos, which is nice because typically you don't hear people stealing Lego or Legos. It said Lego in the article. I don't know if it's Lego, just plural. It's like you call them Lego, and is that plural or do you have to say Legos? Because it's like, you know, $25,000 worth of Lego. Lego is the name of the brand. Legos would make sense. $25,000 worth of Legos. Lego. Doesn't matter. He stole them. He stole them. He got in there with a shopping cart in various parts of Northern California. Pile on the Legos. He took off. And that was something you don't hear about too many times, you know. So I think that's the first time I actually hear anybody stealing Legos, which is nice. Because most often when you hear people stealing things, it's like, you know, high value, quote unquote, high value items. But this actually opens up your eye because like, typically you think about it, you're like, oh, if I'm stealing something, which is not something I condone, but I'm just saying if you are going to steal, you're like, I'm going to steal, you know, jewelry. I'm going to steal money from like a, you know, ATM or, you know, robbing a bank, or I don't know nobody robs a bank anymore. Or like, you know, electronics, high expensive electronics, maybe phones or laptops or something along those lines. So Legos, because then you gotta like be able to sell that stuff as well. And I know like Lego is an expensive toy item, but who would you, your clientele, is it kids that are getting on the dark web who are searching for, you know, cheaper Legos? Is that where or is it adults who are getting on the dark web? Because like, where would you sell the stolen goods? It can't be just, you can't sell them in a local jurisdiction. You'd probably have to, because they don't know. If there's, I would assume they would know. I would assume authorities would know if somebody's stealing $25,000 worth of anything and it pops up on the internet like next week. There might be some questions. Do you roll up to a parking lot in a van and just like kind of like look people up and down? How do you even assess that? Who's a Lego fiend? Do you just like, you know, is that something that they know? Like, I played with Legos when I was a kid, but I wouldn't be able to like look a man up and down and just kind of like assess whether or not he himself is into Legos, or he's got kids that are into Legos, or maybe he's got a wife who's into Legos, or maybe he's got pets who are into Legos. Maybe he's got like a little fish in a fish bowl, just, you know, playing with I don't know. How do you assess that? How do you make that first initial contact? That was my concern. I'm just like, okay, this guy got away with it for a little time. I think he's actually arrested. I'm not sure if he got away with it, but he did steal them nonetheless. How do you make that point of contact? That's my concern. Point of contact is everything. People a lot of times are like, you know, oh, if I were just lucky enough to be walking on a beach and have a brick of cocaine just wash up. There's so much bricks of cocaine just floating around from all the drug dealers all around the world. If I were just lucky enough to find a brick or two of cocaine, finding it is easy. You know, if I were just lucky enough to have a car, you know, parked on the side of the road and have its trunk popped open just with no passengers or drivers, and, you know, just stacked with bricks of cocaine or, you know, weed or pills, I could just take a couple of bricks and maybe sell it. But to whom? Who would you go and sell it to? Who's the point of contact? It's hard to make, you know, it's easy to take the item. It's selling it, it's difficult. So I'm more concerned about his selling, you know, procedure. I'm a little bit, you know, so if maybe he had people who were like, you know, Lego fiends, Lego, you know, connoisseurs who don't want to pay like, you know, MSRP for it, like, but whatever. That's just, it's good news. It's not anything like, you know, it's not that it's good news, but it's not like, you know, it's not horrible news in terms of nobody got hurt. This is not didn't steal food from a baby or like, you know, whatever. It's great that people are stealing Legos too, because you don't hear about that, which is beautiful. I'm happy about that. I do want to see people that diversify. People should steal. People shouldn't steal, but if you are going to steal, it's good to know that there's other items on the menu, that it's not just like gold, silver, you know, the typical stuff. Like, you know, steal potatoes, somebody, and, you know, olive oil. These are things you could, you know, butter, steal some butter. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying this. Diversifying the portfolio, that's what caught my attention, to be honest with you, because you hear of stealing, you're like, oh, it must have been jewelry, 25K. No, it's Legos, just everyday items. It's good. Gets me going. Ladies and gents. What else is going on? This one to talk about global, talk about big events. Europe tagged you're in, you're it, tagged you're in. What am I talking about? Obviously the new admin in the US is, kind of backing off of, giving money and aid to the Ukraine, and, which is nice. These are good things that I'm a fan of. Seeing Donald Trump do these are good things. These are steps that I'm a fan of. Less war, yes, I get hard for less war. More peace, I get even harder. Less funding of, acts that are not good for the betterment of humanity, I'm all for that. Bringing back manufacturing of chips to the US, I see that. I'm like, oh, we're investing in a chip company in Taiwan. We're gonna bring chip making to North America, to the Americas. It's beautiful. I see that, I'm like, yes, let's go. Tariffs, they kind of kill my boner a little bit, but nonetheless, you take the good with the bad. There's good stuff happening. There's a little bit of bad stuff happening too. You got to be aware of everything as much as you can. Somehow try to make it work. Tariffs, a couple of people voiced their concerns to me because I'm, man of the streets, man of the, walk amongst peoples, hear people talking. Not quite sure how it's going to impact me, but I do hear tariffs, taxes. Just my taint gets a little bit wet, and not in a good way. My asshole just tightens up, not in a good way, not in an excited way, not in a way that my asshole tightened up in the beginning of the week when I was talking to that beautiful 53-year-old MILF. More of a tightening of the asshole where it's like, oh, fiscal pressures, God, mother, oh. Just, tightened up asshole, right? That kind of. So, but I love some things. Not a fan of the other. I hope it gets worked out. What we were talking about, yes, Donald Trump not supporting the war in Ukraine, which is nice, which is good. Now it's, people debate whether or not, it's a difficult job. It's a difficult job. You can debate all day and night about the methods of going about doing things. It's a difficult position, all that jazz. But nonetheless, there is now an opening. There's an opening, and Europe just got tagged. And Europe is now going. The European Union, European leaders are getting together. They're talking, and they're saying we should now replace the vacuum with us. So leaders are going in and they're saying they want to contribute somewhere around 800 billion is the figure that I came across last. $800 billion to help fund Ukraine fight Russia, which is, I don't know how I feel about that. Is there any way in our world, is there any way that leaders could potentially, talk about or bring about peace without, making weapons and adding to the war mission? Is that anywhere in the equation? Could that even be envisioned in anywhere? Or is that just like a childish, naive way of looking? Because it doesn't, and Russia's all the way over there, and and you hear about it like, oh, Russia's a big threat to Europe, and that's, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely not an expert in anything, but I feel like, one of the biggest threats to Europe and European nations and European culture and identity would be, I wouldn't say the biggest one is Russia. I'd say one of the biggest ones, top 5 biggest threats to European countries is probably Islam. And that's already inside many nations. Again, not only this has nothing to do with Muslim people, this has something to do with maintaining your culture, maintaining your identity, which, but I don't care about identity that much. I don't, people are always changing, you're growing, you're adding things, you're taking things out, you're putting things back in. But if you want to, and that's already inside, but that's harder. That's like having cancer and then worrying about what's on the, what's the, worrying about a stubbed toe, worrying about the next, shoe drop, next spring in the fashion, forum, fashion, whatever. That's that's interesting. But I guess, in hindsight, you got to look at things in a positive way. It's good to see Europe wanting to, beef up their defense now, which is nice. I say, if peace, because we talk about these things, I'm only one person, of course, but we all come together, we become a large global community. I don't know how much of a difference it does make. If peace is just not on the table, if this is part of humanity, because I don't think, there's never been a time where it's just been full-blown peace. We've never evolved to that point. That's yet to come. That's something that we'll unlock that level on one day. I don't know how it'll feel. I don't know if it'll happen in my lifetime, that all the nations just like, not to say that everything's going to be peachy and perfect, but not going to war with neighboring countries. There's something about that we do. People have a difficult time. People have a difficult time minding their own borders, minding their own business, doing their own thing. It's much easier to go and like, fight wars than it is to like look at your own economical circumstances and be like, well, goddamn, this is just too much to clean up. Let's just go over there. Let's just go get busy over there. Because that's what war is, just a job. War is just a job. Let's fake war together. Why don't we do this? Why don't we build all the weapons, but like don't fill them up with like actual like ammo or like whatever, whatever's inside. Don't fill up the bombs with like actual bomb material. Just like cosplay. We could cosplay. Why do people really need to die? Go to war, paintball gun fights, but then like it'd have to be an honor system. You get shot, you gotta go out. You gotta go sit out. You lost, you got shot, you gotta do it like sports. Do it like, because sports is like a representation of war, right? Sort of, kind of, not really, but there's a little bit of a battle element to it, right? But there's the gentleman or ladies agreement that if you lose, you lose. You got to tap out. You got to go out. So same thing with war. We could have that. We could have fake cosplay war for whatever. Maybe it's in all of us. Maybe it's that like lizard brain part of us that like we got to go to. It's been with us for hundreds of thousands of years probably. It's hard to get rid of. I get it, unless chips and altering our biology or physiology with like technology, that'll come down the line, who knows? But in the meantime, cosplay, if that could be on the table. And it's just work. It's a type of work. It's big work too. It's big business, it's big work. And I get it. Again, it's good to have work too, and I get it, because if you don't go to work, you end up staying with, people need to work. You need to work. We all do. Because if you don't, then you stay home with your loved ones, and as much as you love them, they'll annoy you to the point where you'd want to probably, you get into fights with people you love, you get into arguments. You need to go to work. You need to go to work. Go to work, 6 to 8 hours, come back, then you appreciate the thing that's at home. It's the same thing. Large scale warfare is just the same thing. It's easy to like, it's difficult to stay within your own borders. Difficult for every country. It's difficult. Then you got to really look at the economical circumstances. You really got to look at the societal like makeup. Do we have enough healthcare? Do we have the best education? Do we have the best food and nutrition? Do we have the best of everything? No, those are hard. Those are difficult. And then you stay locked up inside, and you're like, oh, I want to. Next thing you know, you're fist fighting your sister. That sucks. So that's why you go to war. You fist fight somebody else's sister. It gets out of your system. You come back. Yes. You got to repress a lot of memories, but then you move on. Which is why I thought about this. I'm like, if we got to have warfare, why not just have every country have war, like just rotate it equally. Every country, just do a whole roundabout. Like right now, US wants to tag out, which is good, because US is like, it's good. Whatevs. Tap it out, give somebody else a chance, go in there, and I'm for it. If we got to do this, let's do this. Let's have European nations, 5 to 10 years, build up defenses, go to war. I don't want to go to war. I'm just saying, but like if that's something we got to do, then I'm encouraging it. But like fake war, fake killings. Can you be okay with that? Like get shot, fake, but like fake die. Who doesn't want to fake die? How many times have you seen people on screen fake die in a movie? You're like, oh, he died so well. That could be you. You could be out in a field by a tree, just fucking with ample amounts of food and a little backpack. You get fake shot with a fake bullet or whatever. You're out. You just sit there by the tree until the war is over. That could like take 6 months to 5 years. Just build a new life under a new tree somewhere. I'm just, it's good. Yeah, it's big business. I don't know if it's ever gonna stop, because it just those are just some of my thoughts. Hopefully we'll get together somehow, resolve these issues one step at a time. Try to focus on whoever's in charge, because I'm the little guy with the tiniest of voices out there. No, barely any voice out there, but nonetheless, tiny guy putting ideas out there. Just if you can, in your human heart, there's something in there. I see it. I know you beautiful lizards out there who are in charge. I see it inside you. Deep that if you take a hammer and a chisel and just chip away at the calcified outer layers, just keep chipping. There's calcified outer layers. Chip away. Chip deep down inside. There's humans. There's humans inside, and just if you could see beyond the facade of the other or whatever, you could just come together. It doesn't matter. We can all. There's plenty for everybody. There's enough resources for everybody. This doesn't need to be this way. But again, one step at a time. I know these are big asks. They don't come overnight. It's not easy to do. I get it. You want to kill deep down and say, oh, yes, there's a human inside, but there's also a killer inside. I get it. Fake war, cosplay, think of that, cosplay. Ugh, how good is cosplay? We gotta make cosplay cool again. Make cosplay wars, great again. Let's do that. Fake wars. Oh, I know it sucks because then you give out medals and it doesn't have the same value of they actually put their lives on the line. But we got to really believe it. If people are going to cosplay, we got to believe it. Oh, Johnny went to war and he really put his life on the line. Johnny's come back, 3 years later, no job, no extra, skills, finding it difficult to, reintegrate into society. It doesn't matter. Johnny's been at war. He's been on the front line. Johnny's a good man. He put his life on the line. He got a couple of bruises from paintballs. It's all right. I'm just saying. Tag in. You're it now. Europe's in. We're building defenses. Putin is the biggest threat now. Forget about you're losing your culture because and I'm not again. Whatever. Have people come. I'm not against immigration. I'm against conflicting ideas that don't get together. That don't it's like oil and water. It doesn't mix. You can't have Islamic ideas coming in and then not have your own set of ideas stay intact because of, is it an issue? I don't know. I see little bits of it here and there in the UK. I see a little bit of it, in Europe. I do, it's from afar though. I've not lived it. These are just, feelings, reading on a few certain things, not, saying I know anything. What do I know? I don't know anything other than the fact that I was looking forward to eating out a beautiful MILF puss this weekend. That's what I had my eye out on, and it's not happening, which is fine. I'm fine. It's okay. Ladies and gents. A lot of times people want to agree upon something. They don't know how to do it. Typically, we used to go about, shaking hands before even the written word came down and signing big time signatures on big time documents and really committing. People used to shake hands and commit, but that's kind of lost its meaning. And I thought, could we bring the handshake back? Could we make it a little bit stronger? I believe we can. I believe we really can. Introducing cum handshakes and vaginal jizz handshakes for the ladies, of course. Next time you want to shake a hand, but you want it to really mean something, because some people are like, my word is as good as my handshake. My handshake is as hard as my award. Really make it really stick, and I mean that. Next time you want to make a handshake deal, jizz on the palm of your hand, or if you're a lady, again, reach deep down inside your vagina, pull your hand out with enough, mucus and vaginal fluid, and then put your palm out and shake somebody's hand. My goodness, the closer we get, the bonds that we build together, it's just little gestures. It's just saying to one another person, yes, we're we're cum brothers, or cum vaginal fluid siblings. How much closer are you now than it's just a bare cold handshake that doesn't mean as much as it used to? And handshakes, it's a form of greeting. It's a form of we're together now. It's a form of, it's a bond. It's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood. It's a friendship. It's a gesture of love and respect, and it's nice. So just mix it a little bit in there. Just jizz on the palm. It doesn't take that much time out of your daily lives. You're like, how do I make this meeting go a little bit better? How do I make this person in the firm really commit to the firm? They're just a new hire. How do I you go shake their hand, but beforehand you jizz in the palm of your hand. You get them to jizz on the palm of their hand. Now you're shaking hands. As you're letting go, there's jizz, just kind of like a good piece of pizza, just a slice of pizza with ample amounts of cheese separating, but it's delicious. The pizza, of course, not the jizz itself, unless you're like a jizz connoisseur. Then it's fucking breakfast time, or it's like snack time in the office. Kind of you mix your jizz with somebody else's jizz. If you're into it, then lick it up. If it's vaginal fluid, I'll lick that up. But all I'm saying is we could do a little bit more. It doesn't take that. You're like, I don't have time to jizz on my hands. You do. You definitely do. If I have time, you have time. There's 24 hours in the day. We all make time for different things. Which story are you buying? Which excuse are you selling yourself? Ladies, get in there. Yours is an open wound. Just reach in there. There's plenty of moisture to go around. Don't just keep it all to yourself. Get enough moisture on the palm of your hands. High five a bitch in the office. Next thing you know, you're vag fluid sisters. There you go. Bringing people closer together. Really, I mean that. There is company in the US that I've heard about. I'm not quite sure if this is actually happening or not, but it's exciting if it is. Of course, I wouldn't be able to afford it right now, but down the line, son, what's happening next year as of 2026, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know if you've seen this video or not. I don't know if you've heard of this company or not. It's called Aleph, A-L-E-F Aeronautics, based in the US. They're creating flying cars. That's right, flying cars, Jetsons shit, son. We in the futures now. We in the futures now, bitch. It's fly time, fly babies. Oh God, it's too expensive for me, but you could enjoy it. I believe they're going for 300,000. Can somebody fact check this? I don't have anybody in the office to fact check things. I fact checked it as much as possible. I saw a guy, a CEO, give like a couple of minute long videos on the lines talking about the flying car. They have the concept, they've tested it. Apparently it flies. Goes up in the air, turns sideways, and it fucking flies. And it's gonna be a thing. Flying cars, ladies and gentlemen. Forget about, getting stuck in traffic. Forget about terrifying experience of flights where people get naked and you can't join them in the nudity. Forget about those days. If you have 3,000 extra on you and you're like, I want a better experience traveling, the future is here as of 2026. They say that, but I'm also a little bit skeptical because we do put it. I want to see products just out. I kind of don't want to hear the dates anymore because we've heard going to the moon and the Mars for a long time now, and I'm just like, when? But I thought it was 2025, but then before that I thought it was going to be earlier then, because every year we hear about it. We're like, we're going to the moon, we're going to Mars this year, and all you hear is promises, but no, the physical people. I want physical people on the moon. If we've gone, let's go again. Why is it taking so long? This time I'm holding you to it. 2026, I asked ChatGPT, when are we going to the moon? When are we landing people on the moon? Before we go to Mars. Mars is further. Before we go to Mars, let's go to the moon. It said 2026. ChatGPT confirmed manned flight by 2026. If I don't see people on the moon, I'm gonna fucking do like nothing about it. Do absolutely nothing about it. But also like a little bit of a letdown. Kind of gonna be bummed out for like maybe like 10 seconds. But then I will probably match with somebody online and still not be able to go out on a date, which will again bum me out a little bit. What am I gonna do about that? Absolutely nothing. That's right, absolutely nothing, ladies and gentlemen. But in the meantime, before you put out the dates, I do want to see the product. I'm excited. If you have $3,000, let's just, we need more of a class separation between the average folks, the peasantry, and the elite, just motherfucking elite motherfuckers flying above traffic. That's going to be so annoying, dude. I hope nothing happens to you up in the air. Seriously, how do I get one? A used one would probably can go for like a couple of $1,000, but you ding it up a little. I'm terrified of this. It excites me because I'm like, flying cars, Jetsons, dreams of a child becoming reality as a grown man, yes, but also scared because I've seen people on the road. I see people on the road all the time. It's nice. It's gonna be good. And then, but then the flights have also kind of, I don't know, are people just gonna be flying themselves? Do you need like a special, there's going to be a licensing thing. We'll figure it out. It's going to be a licensing process. I'm sure you're going to have to, please don't let there be a licensing. Do not just send regular people into flying. There should be some sort of licensing. Do not, yeah, definitely 100%, dude. You're like, no, I just want to be able to drive it with my regular, there should somebody be training people before we put it out there. For sure, 100%, dude. I'm not trusting no motherfucker out there who barely, drives, getting up in a flying car and just swerving in it. There are not going to be any lanes. You're just going to let people. It's a beautiful idea. I get excited about it, but I'm also alarmed. I'm also alarmed a little bit. Random people could be flying into buildings. That's going to be another thing. How the fuck are you going to stop random people flying into buildings? If it becomes questions to be answered. How the fuck are you going to stop random people getting? You don't think people will do that? You don't think people will get into a flying car? Not even on purpose, just accidentally. Just because they're nude in a flying car now. Guess what? There's no babies on this Aleph car, and there's just 2, 3, maybe 4 adults who want to get nude. Next thing you know, we're flying high. This is fantastic. We're over the coastline. We're over look at this. Look at the forest. And next thing you know, look at this skyline, this building. What a beautiful skyline, this building. Next thing you know, everybody's just coming and jizzing and high-fiving. You're distracted. Boom, into the skyline, dude. You just ruined the beautiful city skyline because you've not been trained. I hope they train people. It's also good to, it's great. I do want to, it's going to be a separation of people in classes. You are going to have, dude, if you're going to be driving around in a flying car and there's still people driving it around, there's definitely a little bit of like, I'm not saying it is a little bit elitist in the beginning. It's a 300,000, you know, make it a 30 grand car. Why does it have to be 300,000? Did I get it? It's a great idea, but the idea has been collected for a really long time. You can't just 300,000 that shit. It's just an engine. Now that you've created, it's not a, once the mystery is solved, there's no mystery to it. What are you going to charge 300,000 and expect it? Fine, I guess you don't want that many people getting it. I guess you just want the elites to get it first, the really rich people to get it first. Looking down on the average folk from above in their fancy flying cars. Oh, you're gonna be seeing a lot of fingers flung up right at you. Not this guy's finger, but I'm sure somebody will be. Doesn't matter. I'm excited for it. No, in all honesty, it's exciting. I do want to see flying cars. Get trained. For the love of God, please get trained. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fantastic Friday. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. I'll be back again next week. And yeah, in the meantime, fucking follow me on Instagram, subscribe on the YouTube channels, and check out patreon.com/RobSadry. I'll be back here again next week. Love y'all. Peace out. Get out of here.